following along on my social media, you know that we are building a pool storage and pool equipment area out in our backyard. And of course it's exposed to elements and the humidity and everything else. And so I've had a ton of questions through social media about how we're prepping that space to prevent it from molding and mildewing and just rotting altogether in such a wet area. And so I wanted to go over what our process is for you, and if you're in the process of painting your own home or preparing to paint your own home, what you should do if you have a wood that you need to paint that's out, of course, in the elements. And so so everything that's around the bottom of the pool house storage is going to be treated on the bottom where it will touch the ground. Anything that goes up, 2x4s and things like that, those are all untreated. And so we are prepping them to paint with oil-based primer. And I know that's scary for some people because you think it stinks, it's messy, and that is true. But the reason why we do that is because it's so important to seal that wood so that no moisture gets in. And oil-based paint really does the best job of getting into the wood, penetrating into all those little areas, and then you can put that latex paint over it. And I know that seems so counterproductive. People think if I put oil, then the latex, which is water-based, will just slide right off. And that is not the case. What I have in front of me here is, this is Zinsser. This is a oil-based primer. There's also another brand on the market called Kilts. You're probably maybe more familiar with that one. But this is an oil-based primer. It does not have any sheen to it. It is flat. Now, if you go to a big box store to buy a primer, make sure that you're getting one of these, because if you ask them just for an oil-based paint, they will likely give you paint that has a sheen to it. It'll probably either be a satin or it'll be a semi-gloss or a high gloss, and you will not be able to paint a latex paint over it. So make sure that you are getting a true primer. This brand, you can shop straight for this. This is Zinsser, or a Kilts paint. And it's super simple to put on. You just take your paintbrush, you can prep, and you can put on latex gloves. Oops, I've got them stuck under here. You can get your latex gloves to protect your hands. And what I do is I buy brushes that are throwaway brushes anyway. So I use them one time, I don't clean them, I just throw them away. I know it's a little wasteful, but it takes a ton of time to clean a brush out that's had oil-based paint with mineral spirits, which is the proper way to do it. So you just take your throwaway brush, you dip it in, you paint it on, and it actually dries really quickly. It soaks it right into the wood. I was able to paint relatively quickly. Usually I would wait 24 hours, but it took less time than that. And so once this is all soaked in, a day later you can get back to it and paint with your typical latex paint that you're more comfortable with, the one that's easier for you to clean up after. You don't have to wear gloves and all that stuff. So I hope that helps you guys. Also, I did want to note that this is the case when this is brand new wood, right? We just bought this from the store and put it all up. If you are dealing with a situation where you are prepping a house to paint and you have to prep it with sandpaper or a scraper to chip off all the paint, make sure that you're prepping your surfaces properly before you put the oil-based paint. You cannot put this oil-based primer right over paint that you've already had on your house. So it's a lot easier if you're starting off fresh, a lot more prep involved if you are going back to redo the paint on your home. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask. I'm happy to answer them, but this oil-based primer is going to be just the thing to protect your home from the humidity and the water better than anything else.